Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shifting Tones, the podcast with nerdy tones and shifting formats. I am your host today, Larissa, and I am joined together with Spiffy.
Hello.
Hi there. And Sam.
Hello.
Ooh.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Thanks. That was
Are
my
you,
Spiffy impression.
Oh, that's pretty good. I thought you were auditioning for a musical, so it was very lyrically.
No. I don't need to audition. I just get the part.
Oh. Well,
Wow.
Wow. I'm glad you're confident today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what's been going on? What's been the haps? You know, I have been...
The haps?
The haps, it's
The
the new
haps.
coolest word, just like fetch, you know?
Ain't no way.
Bet.
No one's out here saying, what's the haps?
I know. Well, you know, little nerdy me since like middle school has been saying it, so...
Really?
maybe-
Totally
absolutely.
tubular.
I've never heard anyone say that.
Really? Never?
No,
I mean,
never.
I've never heard what's
You.
the haps before.
This is
It's so...
No.
I only say it ironically. Like, I've only... Even when I was like a little kid, I very ironically said that. I'm like, what's the haps? You know, what's the
never heard it.
shindig?
I think it's definitely
Wow.
an older... Well, no, what the shindig's not a thing. But what the haps is definitely like an older... Like, hey, like, how's it going? Probably like 60s, 70s slang. All you
Right.
old folks out there listening, let us know.
Please do. Please let us know if you actually said it sincerely or also ironically, just like me. I feel like any time anyone uses like slang, unless it's like the actual point of origin within like the specific culture it was born, like everyone says that ironically. Like no one's serious about it.
I don't know. You were pretty convincing.
Sorry.
So, Steph, what is the haps? What's your small talk?
Yeah, what's going
Oh,
on?
I hate hearing that now. We had another Shifting Tones meetup.
We did.
Yeah, this one
Wow.
was,
we had a
undisclosed.
rousing time.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It was a alcohol themed event, and we are all adults, so don't worry. Not that you were concerned that we weren't adults, because we definitely sound old with our opinions. But it was a good time, and the event went really well. And
That just makes it sound like we just got together and drank. Like, let's
Yeah,
be real.
it was
This
an
a
alcohol
classy
themed event.
very classy. Well, I don't know how like specific we want to get. Like,
No,
It was a bourbon
it's just
event.
it was a
Yeah,
bourbon event.
that makes it automatically more classy.
Yeah, when you say bourbon as
because it's
opposed to...
bourbon,
It was a liquor event.
Vodka.
Well, I don't know. It just sounds more classy to me.
Yeah, it was a
Yes, I
signing
agree.
event of sorts. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was
That doesn't
fun.
make any sense either to anybody. Just saying a signing event makes it sound like we were like at an ASL convention with bourbon.
I mean, that's what makes it mysterious. And
No.
Look, no, we
Listeners,
don't need to be
take a
super
guess.
mysterious. We went to a bourbon
Oh.
barrel signing event, and we signed a bourbon barrel and drank some bourbon
did.
flavored drinks. Yes.
wow, ruined the mysterious tone for today. That's very rude. I was trying to shift things up here, and you just wanted to make it boring. Wow. Okay. Well.
No.
Either way,
I'm trying to clear the air. Yeah.
we all met
Okay.
up and we spent the weekend together, and that was fun. And we hung out and just chatted after the event and that type of stuff. It was super
Yeah.
cold.
Yes.
I was miserable, and then today it was like really warm. I
Yeah,
can't.
no joke. Oh, was your office also extremely hot like mine? Like,
Yes,
oh my goodness.
I can't keep going. I'm sorry, but I just can't
No.
keep going from 20 degrees to
Same.
like 65. I can't.
Insane, I know. Yeah, my office, because I have a little handy dandy thermostat, you know, like one of those like fancy clocks that also tells you what the temperature is in the room. Yeah, it started at like 72 today, which is already, you know, kind of uncomfortable if you're typically having your house at 68 degrees, but livable. Climbed up to 78 today.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty
See,
awful.
in my office, I keep my temperature in my office at about 65 throughout the day, and sometimes my coworkers get cold, so I put blankets on them and cuddle them. And sometimes they're yelling from the other room and like batting
Yes.
at the door over and over.
And
Wow.
barking at the mailman. Yeah, if you haven't noticed, Sam works from home. So
Wow, we're so old. We're just talking about the weather.
yeah, and how terribly hot our offices are, / classrooms, / how nice it is to work from home. Must be nice.
Look, enough about the weather. Sam's got his controversial opinions for the week. His
yeah,
small
what's your
talk.
small talk?
Okay, number one, how do humans figure out how horseshoes like work and how to like take care of like horses' feet? Because like every once in a while at like 2 a.m, if I can't sleep and I'm scrolling on like TikTok
Right.
or something like that, horseshoe
still get those?
content comes up and it's like them like scraping away at like essentially the fingernail of a horse. But I'm like, they're digging in
Right.
there. They're like hitting it with nails. I was like, there's no way that like some guy just started hammering metal into a horse's shoe with his
Right.
foot and was like, this should be fine. Point number two. No, point number two.
No comments? All right.
No
Very
comments.
controversial today.
Point number two.
Okay.
I hate fake ASMR videos. Let me be clear.
What do you mean by
ASMR
fake?
is Yes, ASMR is a thing that people enjoy, and for you that don't know what it is, I don't know the actual like spelling of ASMR, like what that means, but it's essentially
You don't know how to
people-
spell it?
I know how to spell
No,
it. I
what
don't
it
know
stands
means.
for, not spell.
Oh. I was like,
That's the HAP step. That's the HAPs.
Oh.
But it's essentially people making little noises to help people fall asleep and people with anxiety and stuff like that, and people like it as like a calming just background kind of thing, whatever. And it's making like fun little noises by clicking on things or like I don't know, whatever. But there's
It's
people
kind of
that
like
make videos.
Swishing an adult instead of a baby.
Yes. And there's people making videos out there that are trying to make ASMR content, but they're adding noises in post editing that are like clearly
Oh.
not what that object is making. Like
That's
you put a
not
little bit of
great.
sand on the table, it's not making like a slopping slooshing noise.
it can.
Okay. Point number 3. Sorry, my phone locked. All right, point number 3.
Wow.
Priority boarding at an airport is a scam.
It definitely is.
Why would you pay extra to be on a plane before everyone else and have to sit in a confined space that you're going to sit in for the next X amount of hours just so that you're in your spot a little bit sooner before the people? Because even if you're in first class or like the head of coach or like that, business class, you're still sitting on there for like 20, 30 extra minutes that you don't have to. I'd rather be in a big open spot like an airport instead of sitting in a confined space where I have to have all these people walk past me and bump into me and their babies cry and
Right.
their feet smell or whatever else. And it's a scam. Don't pay for it.
No,
Steph, how are you
I
doing?
agree.
You said don't talk during
Yeah,
this
we're not
Are you
allowed to
good?
say comments.
Oh, I didn't
that
say
all-
don't talk.
was
I
that
just
your-
said I'm not taking comments right now at this time.
Right, same
Yeah.
thing.
But you're done with your little tirade?
Yes, controversial Sam 2024.
Oh, 2024. I don't know. What's your platform, I guess? Like can I hear
Controversy.
more?
Controversy.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. Chaos. I'm for it. Anarchy for the win.
You just have the most like random things you think about, I think.
true.
I think
I've got
I feel
more
like
for
a lot
next
of
week
it
already
stems
prepared.
I feel like a lot of this stems from like stuff you see on TikTok and you're like
Creepy.
to talk about.
No, it's
Like
it's
you
honestly
said,
like small
like you
things
said the
like,
horseshoe thing.
Yes, that one I was on TikTok. Like the one I have for next week, it was literally like something I said out loud to Larissa, and I was like, I'm gonna make that one of my small talk
Oh,
points.
okay.
And then
But
things I'm like
but,
just
like,
thinking about. Yeah.
I just have a more focused head with my day to days because like
Yeah.
I don't really think about horseshoes on horses and I don't really care. I think is part of my issue.
What we learned here is that it's really nice to work from home, and Sam's got some extra time on his hands.
My day
Which is
hours
fine.
are dedicated 100% to my job and completing my tasks.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, I will tell that to your boss if he asks for a review. I'll let him know. Super
you.
hardcore worker boy,
That's
which
funny.
you are. Your job's a little different than minor stuffs, or we have to be like super focused on like attending to my case patients and Steph's children. So it's a little different. But anyway, enough of Sam's tirade. My goodness. Today we are going to be talking
Whoa,
about.
whoa! Steph didn't give her small
Bum,
talk.
bum.
Whoa! What are you doing?
She talked about the weather
I
and
gave-
stuff.
I
and-
talked about the weather
Well, no,
and
she-
I talked about the event, the alcohol event.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought those were more of Larissa's points you were commenting on.
No, I brought
No.
up that we had an unofficial meeting. Where have you been?
know.
You've been
I
off
don't know.
in your
I'm not
little
paying attention
list.
anymore. Sorry,
Wow.
my bad. All right, Larissa, get into your
Wow.
episode.
You've
My
lost
bad, my
2
bad.
votes here for your 2024 campaign. Wow.
Oh, man.
Minus 50 points to Sam.
Yes, exactly.
No, I need
Okay.
those. I have to feed my children. I apologize. I didn't want it to feel like I was hijacking. I really thought those were like Larissa had given her small talk, and those were like Larissa or
No.
Steph's bouncing points. My bad.
No. Well, thank you very much for considering our co-hosts' time and their stories, but we have to
course.
move on today.
Yes, yes,
All
yes.
right. Are we good now? Am I allowed to make my exciting announcement?
You could say we're shifting our tone now.
Oh yeah.
Samuel, since you did interrupt my dramatic introduction, do you mind doing a
Sorry.
small drum roll?
bum ba bum bum bum.
All right, today we'll be talking about immersive technology. Ba, ba, ba. Super cool, I know. And you all are thinking, what's immersive technology? Like, this can mean literally anything. And that's kind of the point. It's supposed to be a little nebulous so that we can talk about tech and a lot of different varying things. But I was mostly talking about, you know, your cool VR, your IMAX experiences, your 3D TVs, you know, all that kind of tech that you wear that makes it feel like you're watching an event or participating in like a game or something, and it makes it feel like it's in real life, like jumping right at you. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, just started out, I just figured we would talk about some of the latest and greatest tech that everyone apparently under the sun who is rich enough to buy is interested in right now. The Apple Vision Pro that came out this year. Yeah, on February 2nd, which, fun story, by the way. Small little story corner here.
Okay.
I went to the Apple store on that day, and I had no idea that that was the release date of the Apple Vision Pro.
Oh, was it busy?
No, which is very interesting to me because we walked in, like, very casually. Like, Apple stores are usually busy with people looking at phones and stuff, and there's only, like, a handful of people, you know, like, actually helping check out things because there's no, like, actual checkout register, which, by the way, that's a different discussion. But I just went there because I got a new iPad Pro, which was a very lovely gift by my very nice husband so that I can draw while I'm on the go. And so I was like, oh, I need a nice case for this because yeah, I need a nice case for this. And so I was like, okay, we'll just go to the Apple store. And the guy who was helping us is like, well, you guys picked the most random weird day to go buy a random case when you know that the Apple Vision Pro came out. And I was just like, what? You're telling me this is the release date on a random Tuesday? That's weird.
Is that where you heard about the Vision Pro, or had you known about it prior to going to the Apple store that day?
So I watch a lot of random tech videos because I just like to know what's in and what's cool. And one of my favorite YouTubers, I'm blanking on his name, which I happen to do quite
Always
a bit.
are.
But
yeah.
he is one of the big ones. Like, he's been around for like ever. And so he always reviews things like the Cybertruck. And this time it was the Apple Vision Pro. And he's like, guys, this is super cool. I went to the tent event and like it really felt like I was like in the moment. Like, so the way the Apple Vision Pro works, it's not like your traditional VR headset like you would for like an Oculus, where you're like putting it on and you feel like you're immersed in like a different sort of environment. Like, this is more of an experience where like you can put it on and like you can see the world around you as like if you were like walking through it, and then like you can put like a computer screen, almost like an advertisement billboard, and you're like, okay, this is where my office desktop space is without having an actual monitor. Like, I can see my Excel spreadsheet here, and then I click over here, like literally like pointing with your finger, and then like put a different board here, and then here is my text coming through, like all that kind of like interesting stuff. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Is that it?
Marquez Brownlee.
Thank you.
Sorry, that was a YouTuber's
He's
name, Marquez
super
Brownlee.
Cool. Yes. And so he's like, the more he tried it out and the closer it got to its release date, he's like, guys, it's kind of really heavy and bulky, and like for this price point, there's nothing to do. Like, there's like no games to play with it. You can't even like talk to another person with like another person wearing the headset. Like, it's a very like solo kind of experience. And I was just like, really? I mean, how expensive is this thing? It's like $3,000 or something crazy. Like, yeah. And then I know there's a huge hype around it right now because apparently like everyone under the sun is wearing it, and people are already starting to like try and drive with it on. The stories are wild. So I just want to know what your guys' opinion is. If you heard anything, what you think about VR in general.
I've barely heard I've heard of it, at least the Apple one in particular. I just think it's kind of pointless. Right. I think it's just like, if you have the money and if you want to, you know, be all fancy with your tech, sure, but just I feel like most normal people are never really gonna, at least right now, gonna be able to afford that, because a lot of people financially are struggling, and that's just something that's not necessary. Like a phone is necessary nowadays, you know what I mean? But
absolutely.
Like that's not necessary. That's not needed. So I mean, if people have the money to spend and play around with it, sure, but I just can't see that being a huge market thing.
No, and like, but I will say the one cool thing is like when we were being helped by that assistant in the Apple store, he's like, guys, you gotta try a free demo. And I was like, maybe. I love a free demo. Like, I can try it for like 10 minutes and experience it, but I feel like after that first 10 minutes, like, that's it. Like, I understand it. Do I need this more? Maybe not.
For me, it would just be a hassle to put on every single day. Like, that just sounds so tiresome.
I know. And it reminded me back when, like, what was the Oculus called again before?
Rift? Oculus Rift? Or am I thinking of something else?
Maybe that was the original term. Facebook bought them out and they changed the name, right? So now it's like Meta or something stupid like that. I think Oculus was the original one.
I have no idea.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, I remember when it first started coming out and started becoming a lot more affordable. Well, affordable in quotation marks. Not like 10 grand for like some really fancy rich people. When it came to like the Microsoft store and you can play like a free little demo and then like you have the little like box area and you can like sign up and like put the thing on and you would like walk around and like it was a really cool experience. It was really fun. I definitely like without realizing like bumped into the ropes because I thought I wasn't moving, but apparently it was walking around quite a bit. But I think the biggest problem and why VR is not going to take off is that unless they really, really, really perfect the eye mapping experience, most people have motion sickness after like 10 minutes of use. And I mean, I don't really have motion sickness. I have like a slight problem with it. And after like 10 minutes, I was like, I'm done. I got to get out of here. Like, I'm going to throw up.
Meta has the Quest 3 right now. It's their version of the Apple Vision Pro. I agree with Steph. It's definitely like a rich person thing to just, it's an expensive hobby essentially because there's no need for it.
Right.
Like, I think maybe in like 20 years, I know that's a long time down the road considering how much we've advanced VR technology just in the last like 5 years. I think it's going to be more of a household thing in like 20 years. But like right now, it's kind of just a rich person thing to like, you know, buy your time and just like hang out and do stuff. Like, I don't need to see 3 screens at the same time. Like maybe some people do, but it's probably cheaper at that point just to buy 3 monitors, you know, and just do whatever you need to. I don't know. It seems silly.
I think what's interesting from like a artistic standpoint is that it's a fun way to experiment with like immersing yourself in like a video game. It's so like not on the same level as what our current graphics are for like a 2D sort of experience where it's like, okay, cool, I feel like I'm playing a game made in the 2000s level kind of a graphics. Like that breaks my experience more is that like the graphics haven't like met up with the like immersive ability of it. And I'm like, I'm gonna wait until we get at least 2010 graphics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, I think for the most part, like any of the video quality or like internet quality is like probably like 1080p or whatever. But any sort of game or any sort of app feature is like N64 graphics.
It's so ugly. And like some of them is really cool. Like they have like an artistic standpoint and then it's like purposely abstracted. I'm like, okay, that's fun, that's cool, that's creative. But a lot of it's just like we're slap and dashing this together to make a quick buck on a VR headset for like rich people. Like I don't know about that.
I don't have much experience in regards to like immersive stuff. Like I've never played with like a VR headset before. I've never I only have ever worn it once and that was in a museum in Florida.
That's
for
cool.
Oh my god, it was for
the
an alligator
Dali.
exhibit.
Yes,
right?
Salvador Dali. You called that, Larissa. Yes, it was for Salvador Dali, and they put a headset on me, and you could like walk through the painting. That was my first ever experience with like a VR headset, and it was for like an art museum. So I thought that was a very like unique perspective to kind of, you know, kind of like almost in a way entice the younger generation to be like, look at this art. But it wasn't only for the younger generation. Like there were people in line for that thing that were all ages. Like I saw like older like grandparents put it on to like walk through the painting. So I think it's just a way for people to connect art more. And that was a really cool experience. Now, in terms of video games, I've never played with a VR headset or anything like that. So I don't have much experience with that. The only 3D thing I've ever played, and it was literally last year, like year and a half ago, and it was the 3DS for the first time, which I know I'm behind.
No,
but
that's a great point.
But that was like the first like 3D game I played.
That was
It's the
awful.
worst 3D graphics,
Oh
too.
my God. It immediately gave me a migraine and immediately sick. I was like, this is a super cool idea. I remember like demoing it when it first came out in like our local GameStop, and I was like, oh my God, this is the future. I'm excited. Immediately was like, this is worse than a holographic, like one of those cards, you know, that like you shift it. It was worse than that. And I was like, wow, what a huge waste. This is gonna flop. And then joke's on me, it was around for a while. It's just that everyone toggled the 3D function off.
Yeah, I think
like
sorry, I'm gonna say this real quick. I think like it's interesting where even just a handheld 3D thing can make people so motion sick, because I've heard that before, where it makes a lot of people sick and people don't really use that feature, and they haven't really made handhelds like 3D anymore because of that. So it's interesting going back to just the Apple VR, whatever it was called, how I'm sure a lot of people, like you kind of said, is gonna be motion sick. So unless they can kind of like figure out something to not make people motion sick from it, I don't see it working out all that well.
Right. And like I said, even for people who are like not even like clinically diagnosed levels of it, where you're like, you have to take a Dramamine before you go into a car sort of a level. Like, yeah, that's not good if like 25% of your potential market is going to get sick after 10 minutes. So,
all right, sorry, go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I think that the best way to use VR would be something like that Salvador Dali exhibit. I don't really think playing games on it is the best use for it. And I've seen gameplay, and it's kind of cool looking, but it's, like I said, N64 style graphics almost, and really laggy, very jostly. But being able to like walk through a painting, or like almost like be inside of a movie maybe, or like take a walk through history would be really cool. But just playing games on it, or like scrolling on the internet or watching Netflix kind of seems like a waste of money.
I agree. Like, what's wrong with 2D in front of you in your real life?
I think
why do I need 8 glasses to do the exact same thing? Silly.
The only game that I saw that looked interesting on VR was like that Beat Saber. Just because, but that's also like you're moving and stuff. So I think that's like the only one that would appeal to me. But would I go out and buy a VR headset just to play that game? No.
Right. And I think that was one of the tester games that I did in that demo all the way back in like 2017 or so. And yeah, that's the problem. You move around, and like it's almost kind of like that Wii problem where like unless you have like a barricade set up, you're like swinging things around. You might accidentally like break stuff. You know how like before, when the Wii remote came out, before it had that like card slip, you know, around your wrist, people were throwing it at checking at TVs and breaking things. Like that's a big problem.
I think unless you have one of those like 360 treadmill like gyroscopic things where your like waist is attached to it and you're not able to actually move with outside this like 3-foot radius,
then
it's never going to be truly like immersive unless we get into, you know, Elon Musk's Neuralink, like where you're a Sword Art Online where you have a chip in your brain and you can just turn it on and you're in another world, which I mean would be really cool to a point before it turns us all into like brain dead zombies.
It sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's fine.
Yeah,
Just
the last thing I want is a virus into my Neuralink. Horrifying thought.
Oh, now we talked about zombies just a little bit ago.
True.
That'd be a really cool concept for a zombie movie.
That's true. Honestly, I can see it. But talking about movies, did you guys ever? I mean, they're still a thing technically, but maybe not really. Did you guys ever go see those Real 3D movies when it came back out in full force in like the 2010s and 2015?
No, I never got a chance.
Really?
I only ever watched 3D movies when I was a kid.
With the really old blue in one eye and red in the other, which honestly I kind of feel like that sometimes worked better than the Real 3D experience. But Sam, tell us, what was your experience with that?
The first one and only, I mean, I might have seen another one, but the only one I truly remember is seeing Avatar when it first came out in 3D.
Oh,
the blue
so you
people,
actually
not
did
the
the
bad
big
one. Yeah, and it was because my local theater, which is like a historic theater, didn't have that at the time, and they finally got it. And so this was like, okay, perfect timing. Avatar just came out. You got 3D. And it was actually a really good experience. Even wearing glasses, like it wasn't that bad. But man, the old red and blue glasses for Spy Kids 3D, now that's where it's at.
Dude,
it was where it was
that
at.
was a good one. You know what also was good back in the day? Shark Boy and Lava Girl in 3D.
I never got to see that in theaters. I think it was just like like slightly out of my time, or like I saw commercials for it and was like, I don't know if I care
Not
enough.
my alley.
You missed out. That was good.
I know. I could have dressed up as like Shark Boy for Halloween one year or something.
Right. Yeah. My big experience with that, other than obviously Spy Kids 3D, was it was a little bonus disc that we got for our like Shrek 2 DVD, and it was like Shrek 3D, like a little short 20-minute adventure. I watched it constantly.
I remember that.
Good. Yeah, they go on the little pumpkin carriage ride, and the 3 blind mice stick their like walking stick at you, and then like I think the dragon blows fire and smoke at you. It's really silly and goofy.
Have they released any recent 3D movies or anything like that, or is that just kind of a lost thing now?
I mean,
I do believe there are still almost all movies come in real D 3D, at least especially like action movies.
But it's not like
they're more expensive. Why would you bother?
Right. And it's not like it's really made for 3D, if you know what I mean. Like, there's no, like, really gimmicky points with it. It's just like, oh, let's slap 3D on it because we can spend more money on tickets.
But is that actually, like, with the glasses still, even?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, yeah. So the thing is, like, when you go see a real D 3D, it's kind of just like things are maybe a little bit more, like, popped out and stuff. It's not like Spy Kids or Shrek where things are jumping out of the screen. You gotta dodge it, you know? Yeah.
Unless it was like specifically designed to be gimmicky like that, like the Avatar.
Yeah, like the Transformer movies too. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of just like, what are we doing here? And
I would say some of the best. Oh.
No, go ahead, go for it.
I was just gonna say some of my best 3D experiences were at Disney. They have the Bugs Life one and the Honey I Shrunk the Kids one, and those are they call them 4D experiences because you get like poked and you like get like water sprayed on you and
the
stuff
vibration
like that.
from the seats and stuff.
Yep.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh my god.
You unlocked a memory for stuff here.
Oh my god, I love those. Like at amusement parks and stuff where like
yes.
you're watching this. Yeah, it's like a big theater and then the seats move. Oh my god. Now that's an immersive experience right there. I remember going to a roller coaster park, and there was one with SpongeBob, and that was so hilarious. Cool as a kid.
Sure, absolutely.
The amusement park by us has VR roller coaster stuff. So it's you ride the ride, and you get a helmet, like a VR helmet essentially, and while you're on the roller coaster, you're like flying through like a volcano, or you're in like a Jurassic World kind of situation, or the future. Yeah. I assume it causes nothing but motion sickness. No, I've never done it. It scares me.
I would love to try that. That'd
terrifying.
Be so fun.
Yeah,
I don't get motion sick really at all. So that'd be awesome. Oh my god,
I don't think I do either, but VR on a roller coaster has got to be horrible.
Yeah.
But oh my god, those immersive seat ride things, like those were like so fun because it's like I don't know. There's something about it as a kid that was so thrilling with that.
Right. I just love the gimmickiness of it too. Like, you know, you're going to be like shot with like water if like there's like a splash in the puddle or something like that. Like, it's all kind of fun.
Or the fart spray from the stink bug.
Right. Like, kind of going back to like the 3D movie experience. Like, unless you're like intentionally designing the experience around it, like, what's the point? That's boring. Like, I want to watch something that's like beautiful, not something that's like rushed out because you thought it'd be kind of cool in a 3D glaze on it, but not really. So,
but I feel like
don't be lazy.
I feel like they're trying to appeal to more like adults because I feel like a lot of that like 3D and like immersive stuff first kind of started out for kids, you know?
Sure, that's fair.
And I don't know if it's because like I don't know. I'm throwing this this theory out. If like because like we grew up on a lot of that 3D stuff, like the 3D glasses, the immersive rides, yada yada, 3DS, you know. I wonder if it's like, well, now that we're kind of adults, like, are they trying to appeal to an adult version?
Yeah, no, that's fair. But I guess
I don't know.
What Hollywood doesn't understand is that like just because it's gimmicky doesn't mean it's just for kids. You just got to be smart and like refined about it. Like, maybe not make a fart joke, but you can find a way to make it interesting other than, I don't know, maybe it bumps out a little bit more.
Are there any other immersive things that we're missing? We kind of mentioned 3DS, VR, the Apple thingy. I don't know, Vision thing. I don't know, whatever it's called.
Well, the one thing that Sam and I were talking about when we were trying to come up with ideas for our podcast today was Do you remember when 3D TVs came out? Do you remember that?
Barely. I don't think I've ever seen one.
When I remember people talking about it, where like, yeah, they were like, oh my goodness, my cousin got it. Like, he got his first big boy job, and like him and his wife, they were super excited. We bought it, and I was just like, whoa, how cool. Like, you have a movie theater experience, and not only is it like a big screen TV, you can like fully immerse yourself into it. And then like I never heard about it again after like 2012.
Yeah,
they're essentially the home version.
I don't think I ever saw them.
Yeah, they're the home version of Real D 3D. I think I don't know if you need the glasses or not. I think they do, because like each TV came with like these are Sony glasses or Samsung glasses or whatever. It's, to me, it seemed like it was a scam and like a big waste of money. And I know I've been saying that about a lot of this VR stuff, but at the same time, like, I don't know, just watch like a regular movie. Does it really matter if it's like popping out an inch or two, you know?
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting that it was even like a thing that people were like, oh my God, yes, we need this technology in our lives. And not only do we need it in like a big, huge, like social kind of gathering place, like a movie theater, we need to bring it home for 2 people to watch their Lord of the Rings marathon on.
I just can't imagine how many glasses people have lost.
That's true.
For their TVs. Like just misplacing them, or they falling under the couch or behind a bed and you don't know where they go.
That's all part of the scam.
Right? So it's like...
Right, because then, like, your TV's useless then.
Your dog eats it, like, you know what I mean? Your kids chew on it or break it. Just anything like that, and they're just, boom, gone. And it's like, okay, well, there's the TV glasses gone.
Well, yeah, and the TV, because I don't think you really could watch the TV without the glasses.
Oh, I just thought...
I think you could turn the setting off.
Oh, okay. Kind of like the 3DS.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I also just thought of an immersive thing. I don't know if this was on your list.
No, go for it.
But like the hologram concerts, like Hatsune Miku.
Oh my God. Yes.
Dude.
Tupac.
No, those are great.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I think Gorillaz kind of does that too.
Yeah, they do.
They were a thing. Yeah. No, that's really cool. And I think Sam and I are going to Vegas relatively soon. I think one of the hotels, like, big thing when they're starting to like redo this hotel lobbies, they're gonna make a 3D hologram like Elvis experience concert.
Oh my God.
I know. And that's gonna be like a thing for like a residency, you know? I was like, oh man, who's gonna do this? That's what Sam was asking. I'm just like, your grandma. Your grandma's gonna find a trip to go to Vegas to watch Elvis in real life, then like experience it again for her first time.
But that makes I feel like that makes sense for older people. It's fun.
That's fair.
To me, holograms seem more interesting as far as the future goes than like VR. Like, I know, you know, when you watch Star Wars, you're like, oh, holograms, and like they're all blue, and it's not looks that great, but it is like a future technology. But like, I guess it's just a slightly more advanced FaceTime or you know, Meta, you know, Quest, like FaceTime kind of thing. I don't see, you know, a specific use for it besides like concerts or maybe like having like a historian talk to you. But then at the same time, like,
that'd be cool.
I don't know, why not just watch a movie? You know,
that's true.
I don't know. I guess
no,
seeing Tupac in concert, knowing he's a hologram, doesn't make it any more exciting than if I was to just go watch a Tupac concert on a big screen at a movie theater. I don't know.
Okay, but then explain to me why Hatsune Miku is headlining Coachella.
Because weird people love weird things. And
I mean,
I don't
you're
know.
not wrong. I also just think it also specifically works for Hatsune Miku instead of like Tupac more, because like Hatsune Miku, I know I'm saying it wrong.
I know, it's
crazy. She was never a real person to begin with.
And that's exciting.
Exactly. And so seeing something like that's like that was trapped behind a screen suddenly come into like real life, that's cool. Seeing a fake version of Tupac, that's kind of like uncanny valley. Like, it's not like Hatsune Miku is trying to be like the most realistic human experience ever. Like, it's just a fantasy. And I think that's fun.
How do you feel a different immersive... Oh, go ahead before I change topics. I shift the tone.
I just don't know how important it would be for me to see like a person who's never existed, like a fake, you know, essentially an anime character perform a musical.
Right.
I'd rather be immersed in a painting, like earlier we were talking about, as opposed to just seeing a Vocaloid perform.
But that's your personality type. Me and Larissa are gonna be out in the crowd with our glow sticks jumping back and forth.
And also, you're telling me that you wouldn't go to a Goku hologram experience?
No, I wouldn't.
You're telling me that?
Because he's
Really?
a cartoon
That'd be
character and he
fun.
doesn't exist.
That'd be so
And
cool.
Then I'll just go watch the
Right?
show. I'll just go watch the show.
No. Because like, imagine like seeing like an anime.
Because you know it's going to be a weird voice actor too. That's not the
you.
real one.
No, don't worry about that. Like, okay, imagine like seeing like, okay, the voice actors for Naruto are still alive. Like, imagine a Naruto holograph fight where you can see it from like all the different angles, like instead of just like whatever the artist could sketch out.
Right. No, and they're still
That'd be
alive too for
crazy
Dragon
to
Ball
map
Z.
out.
I know.
They're still alive, but what I'm saying is, if it's a Vegas show, the voice actors for Naruto aren't going to go there and do this show.
You don't think so? I think they would do it
No.
right.
No,
not
I
in
wouldn't
Vegas.
say. Well, I was gonna say maybe not Vegas, but you're telling me that a bunch of nerds with a bunch of money wouldn't find out a way to do it right.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
don't
shift
think
the
it's
tone
worth it.
over to my last immersive thing that popped in my head.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Last topic.
Drone fireworks shows during New Year's in different countries.
Right.
I think
I don't
that's
know
the
how I
future.
feel
I think
about
that's the
them.
best thing. I would
so?
much rather see. Yes, I think that's way cooler than a hologram, and I know it's kind of the same thing. But if you could have giant drones in the sky as opposed to on a small stage, like I don't want to see somebody who's like 5'6" performing. I want to see somebody that's 500 feet performing in space. If Goku fought Naruto made of drones in like the sky, now that's awesome.
Oh my god. I don't know. I kind of feel like drones, like, it's really cool how they can orchestrate everything and make it look like things in the sky, and it's fun, but it almost feels like, and I know it's not cheap, but it feels like a fake cheap imitation of fireworks. Call me old fashioned, but I love the big old boom.
But it's
the
better.
smell of the fireworks.
It's better for the environment.
Is it though? Like
I
how much? Like,
Yes. Yes.
No, but think about the
how much
mining.
waste.
Just
I
like
don't know.
the smoke and the explosions or the dust settling. That's the only thing I could think of. I'm sure the drones, though, I mean, with all the materials to make them,
See?
probably aren't
Yeah.
equally as good either. But
Exactly.
I don't know.
Sounds
It's
like
like-
Larissa hates war vets and dogs with anxiety
What
because
sounds like you
fireworks
want
cause
more
so
children
many
workers
problems.
in mines
Yes, put all the children's in mines if it gives me Goku and Naruto fighting in
to
the
get
sky.
you rare earth minerals.
I think the problem is we don't have enough
Oh my
children
goodness.
working the mines to get drones. I think if we can mine
What
more
the hell
drones.
are you on?
Look, if we could mine more drones.
Sam just wants to say drones are better than fireworks.
I like fireworks.
What?
Don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is, you know, when fireworks go off, there's always people like posting on Facebook and on the news and stuff like, "Hey, just let you know, like people have
Sure.
PTSD and there's dogs that
That's
like
true.
can't deal with it and stuff like that, and they get scared over thunder, and you
That's
want
fair.
fireworks? No, either send them to a
Yeah.
battlefield or put drones in the sky, Larissa. You have two options: send them back to war or put drones in the sky. Which one is it going to be?
That's extremely valid. And environmental reasons aside and mental health reasons aside, I just like fireworks more.
And that's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
That's a good reason to. See, I don't think we should have to like explain ourselves for why we like something. If you like fireworks because they're big, shiny, and go boom, then that's fine. I like drones because they cause children to go mining.
What?
Yeah, that's
Think about
because
it,
in
Steph.
order to like get the materials, and this is the problem with all the tech. So like I guess this is like a downer to end everything on. All these immersive tech require like exploitation in some way because you need to mine rare earth minerals in order to make
I
your
see.
gadgets work. And so a lot of the times those mines you're working in smaller spaces. Who is small and easily exploitable? Children.
I
so
see.
that's a big
Okay.
problem.
I have the
Yeah.
solution though. I have the solution. I think we should start mining in VR. I think if we train kids in Minecraft to get those materials for us in
Right,
Minecraft
right.
and then produce it in the
Right.
real world, I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
Actually, I think I have one better for you because it's a virtual experience. They should just Bitcoin. Mine for Bitcoin.
Oh, there you go.
All
There
right.
you go. Get your digital
Are we done
Bitcoins.
with
Well, to end it on a relatively interesting note, tell me your most favorite immersive experience with any sort of tech. It doesn't matter if we've talked about it today or not.
I'll probably say the like I said, the museum one with the VR headset and walking through El Salvador Dali painting. I think that was pretty unique. I've never seen that done before. I've never heard people talk about it, so that was really cool.
No, that's really up there. That's super cool. Sam, what about you?
Probably the drones in the sky. That's so cool. Like the fact that they can program them to not crash into each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. But have I experienced the painting thing? Not yet, but I'd sure like to.
Yeah, definitely. We'll add it to our bucket list. And for me to end it out on, it's a little bit different than what we talked about today. I just remember when I was in like first and second grade and you go to your science museum, my most favorite experience is watching a movie in IMAX for the first time. Super cool.
Oh yeah, good choice.
Yeah, just watching everything around you in a sphere, and you can like look all the different ways, and you're getting different angles of like the animals running around.
That's fair. Fun. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whoa, what about? Sorry, I changed mine to Pokemon Go's augmented reality, where like I can see Pikachu next to my dog and then catch it.
Yeah. That's
funny.
fair. Well, clearly we can talk about this for a very long time, but we're gonna wrap it up there. And let us know what your favorite immersive experience is with cool new tech. And also, if you hate it, we want all varying opinions. And so this is our podcast, Shifting Tones. And Steph, do you want to give us your handle?
Yeah, you can find me at Spiffy Steffi on all social media platforms.
And Sam?
That's our Captain Sam at your local Subway.
You're not wrong. And you can find me at Larissa.Schaefer on all social medias as well. And you can follow our podcast on all medias at Shifting Tones Pod. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.